Hey there guys, it's CyberUltra here. Fighters Pass Volume 2 for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is almost coming to a close, meaning that this is the last chance for fans to get their dream character in the game. Of course, not everyone will come out happy, but the nice thing about this DLC is that we were able to get 12 new characters that otherwise wouldn't have gotten in. I'm really happy with both of the Fighters Passes, so I'm honestly fine with anyone as long as their franchise isn't overrepresented in the game. But it's still fun to try and guess who the final fighters are going to be. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 characters I think still have a chance of getting in. I won't be including Microsoft or Square Enix characters since they're both third-party companies that already have a character in Pass 2. Let's get right into it. First, let's start off with a genre that hasn't gotten enough representation, that being first-person shooters. Third-party characters in Smash are usually genre-defining characters, so it only makes sense that Doomguy or Doomslayer from the Doom series of games should get in. The only other shooter rep we've really gotten is Inkling, but that's a Nintendo character that didn't have anything to do with the formation of the whole genre, and Splatoon is a really different type of game. Doomslayer would represent the history of shooters, and on top of that would make for a sick moveset. Bethesda's been bringing tons of games to the Switch, so we know that the company's been working with Nintendo for the past few years. One concern people have is whether or not Doom is too mature of a game to include in Smash, but considering we've gotten multiple rated M games in Smash before, I think they could definitely come up with a workaround. The second character I'll talk about is Eggman from the Sonic series. Shout out to Tails for almost making this list, but I just had to go for Eggman for this one. Sega somehow only has one character in the game, despite the fact that they were one of the original two third-party companies to get a playable character in Smash. I think that Aro from Puyo Puyo could also get in since she's been at the forefront of discussion for a while. I definitely wouldn't be opposed to her inclusion, but if this is the ultimate Smash title, then I think another Sonic character should get in. Sephiroth showed us that they're willing to go back and include villains from underrepresented series, and Eggman would perfectly fit with that logic. He's a big personality and would be one of the more funny characters in the game. I'm honestly still shocked that Shadow didn't get in as an Echo Fighter in the base game, so hopefully Eggman happens in Fighters Pass 2. The next character I'm predicting is Crash Bandicoot. I've talked about him plenty of times in other videos, so if you want my full thoughts on him, check out the video in the top right corner. I don't want to repeat myself, so I'll make this quick. Crash is one of the most iconic characters in gaming history, and he's got games on the Switch, so I think he has a pretty solid chance of being the E3 reveal for the game. My fourth prediction is Reimu from the Touhou project. To be honest, I don't really know anything about this character since the series isn't too big in the West, but it is huge in Japan, and we know that Nintendo loves to work with their fellow Japanese developers. Reimu has spiritual abilities which can make for some pretty interesting attacks in her moveset. My one concern is that a lot of people in the West might be disappointed in her reveal because they haven't heard of her. Then again, that hasn't really stopped Nintendo from including characters before. She's been talked about in a lot of discussions of speculation, so it'll be interesting to see if she ever gets in. The fifth character I'll talk about is a Nintendo rep. We've already gotten 3 as DLC, and it's not out of the realm of possibility to see another one get added. Ones I'd love to see are Viridi, who's my most wanted Nintendo character, as well as Dixie Kong and Marx. I know that Marx is already a boss in the game, but in my opinion he'd make for a way cooler character than Bandanity. However, a theme we've seen in the Nintendo DLC characters so far is that they're all from Switch games. Nintendo hasn't really chosen legacy characters to include in the DLC, but instead ones from new games. That's why I think that if we do get a Nintendo character, we'd get one from a Switch game. The one my mind immediately goes to is a Pokemon Sword and Shield rep. Possible options are any of the starter Pokemon, Toxtricity, or one of the legendaries from the Expansion Pass DLC. Personally, I'd like to see Inteleon in the game, but the other options are cool too. If it were up to me though, I wouldn't want another Pokemon rep in general. It's already the most represented series in Smash, and I'd rather see characters from other series get in the game. My next character I want to go over is Phoenix Wright from the Ace Attorney franchise. This is my most wanted character in the game, so I'm really enthusiastic about the subject. But this also means that I've talked about him a lot on this channel, so I'll keep this one brief. I think he has lots of moveset potential due to all the psychic abilities he has in his games, and he has a long history with Nintendo. Phoenix would make for an awesome inclusion. Other Capcom characters that could have a chance include Dante from the Devil May Cry series and Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Another character that I think has a pretty good chance of getting in is Ryu Hayabusa from the Ninja Gaiden series. I know that there have recently been interviews that seem to lower his chances of getting in, but I thought I'd bring him up anyways. Ninja Gaiden is an important series to Nintendo, and Koei Tecmo has helped Nintendo a lot with game development recently. They made Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which was Nintendo's big holiday title for 2020. Considering they trusted them to handle something so big, I think a Smash character is definitely on the table. I think having a ninja type of character would make for a really fun addition in the game. The next prediction I'm gonna make isn't much of a prediction, but more like a warning. For a while, people made jokes about Minecraft Steve getting into Smash, but slowly, those jokes became more and more real. We've seen that really any character can get into Smash, and it doesn't matter if people consider them to be a serious inclusion or not. That's why I think Jonesy from Fortnite and Freddy Fazbear from Five Nights at Freddy's have a chance of getting in. I don't think it's a big chance, but it could still happen. There's also the possibility of Mii costumes, but we'll talk about that another time. Even though these characters seem like jokes to the average person, we have to consider them like we would any other franchise. Fortnite completely blew up and went mainstream. It's been on the Switch since its first year on the market and continues to be the most downloaded game on the Switch. Fighters Pass 2 was probably decided sometime in 2019, so the timing seems to actually line up well for him. There are a million different weapons in Fortnite that could be used, so having a moveset for him wouldn't be a problem, I don't think. There's also Freddy Fazbear. Nintendo's shown to have some interest in including indie games in Smash. Shovel Knight is an assist trophy, Sans is a Mii costume, and there are even more examples. Five Nights at Freddy's sells incredibly well and still tops the charts on the App Store. It's also got most of its mainline games on the Switch. I'm not saying that I think either of these will happen, but anything is on the table when it comes to Fighters Pass 2, so I wouldn't say that they're impossible. Speaking of indie reps, let's go over one that isn't a complete joke. The Knight from Hollow Knight would be an incredible addition to the game. Although I haven't completed much of Hollow Knight, I do know from what I've played that it's an indie masterpiece. I think that the Knight would make for a really good character and would finally give indie games a full character to represent them. Silksong is coming to the Switch at some point, so the game is still going to be relevant for a while. Another indie rep they could include is Shantae, and I can definitely see her happening. I'm honestly surprised that we've gotten to the end of the second Fighters Pass and still haven't gotten an indie rep. So hopefully Nintendo gives them a chance, since they're such an important part of the gaming industry. Finally, for the last character of the video, I'll be talking about Rayman. I think he has the chance to finally break out of the ice on Battlefield and make his debut in Smash. Ubisoft and Nintendo have had a great relationship throughout the Switch era, and I think that Rayman would be the perfect inclusion for them to add in the game. It would also be pretty funny to see what his amiibo would look like, considering the fact that he has no limbs. Rayman did have a spirit in the base game, but as we've seen with Min Min, Pyra, and Mythra, spirits can still get into the game as fighters. I think that DLC spirits don't have much of a chance of getting in, but base game ones are definitely an option, so Rayman still has a chance. I really hope to see him because it's been a pretty long time since a platformer character got into the game. Anyways, those were the 10 characters I think have a pretty good shot of getting in. Since there are most likely only 2 character slots left in the DLC, not every single fighter will get in, but it's still going to be fun to see who does. I'm sure that at least one of the 2 final characters will be someone I didn't list in this video. Let me know in the comments which characters you want to see in the game, and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.